Hi everybody, hope you're well. A little while ago I had a request and it was to do with how could you breed horses designed to win certain types of competition. So this is going to be a very basic covering of this concept. I could go into a lot of detail. Right now I'm not going to do that because I feel like I should start small and then later on build on it. Okay, so on my EC page I have basically a basic explanation of competitions. So what I have here is the skill in brackets affects the level of the competition, for example. So, as I said, the barrel, that's speed, cutting, that's stamina, reining, that's gallop, trail, that's dressage, western pleasure, trot, cross country, stamina. So you get the idea, okay? Now, there's two other skills, obviously, with each of these. So there's stamina and gallop, just for example, for barrel. The stamina and the gallop, in that respect, are the secondaries, okay? And the speed is the primary. So everything I have in brackets here is a primary skill. And that is the skill that has the most effect on the outcome of the competition. Now I have spoke about this in blopping videos before. So I am just going to actually do, well, how can you know this and how can you work this out for yourself? Right, well, I'll show you that now. Right, so I've clicked on one of the skillers here, and if I click on barrel, okay? Now, immediately up here, this here that I've highlighted, so enter a barrel racing competition. This discipline requires excellent skills in speed and galloping, as well as lots of stamina. And you can see here, this one here, the skill that's listed at the top is always the primary. And the two below that are always the secondaries. So speed has the most effect on the outcome of that competition, and then the stamina and the gallop next. But, okay, there's another three skills there that are not listed, and those three skills are trot, dressage, and jumping. So immediately we know that a horse with a horse's skills in trot, jump, and dressage have no effect on a barrel race competition. The only skills that count is the stamina, the speed, and the gallop, okay? So that's what you got to bear in mind. And if I go to another horse, and I click on cross country. So here's another example. Cross country. Entering cross country competitions, you need to be good in stamina, jumping, and dressage. So once again, primary skill at the top here. This horse is quite low in its primary skill. Dressage and jumping are the two secondaries. So we can rule out that speed, trot, and gallop have absolutely no effect on the outcome of the cross-country competition. So with that in mind, what you want to be thinking about is whenever you're breeding horses, maybe they're purebred, maybe they're crossbreds, you want to be thinking about what kind of competitions you want to win with them. Do you want a horse that does relatively well in a couple of competitions, or do you want something very, very specialised that's really good in just maybe one or two? So these are the kind of things you need to think about, and it also allows you to pick the right breed of horse for what you're doing. So if I just, right, I'm going to take two breeds, and I'm going to choose cross country that we looked at a minute ago. So we know that stamina is the most important skill, and dressage and jumping are the next two most important ones. So I've got a Connemara here, and I've got a KWPN. So if I just compare the two against each other, one thing becomes very obvious very quickly. The stamina on the KWPM is extremely low in comparison to the stamina on the Connemara. Now these are the foundation percentages of the skills, okay? So then the next thing, the KWPN has quite good dressage, and so does the Connemara. But the KWPN is a lot better in dressage. But dressage is a secondary skill for the cross country, so it's not as important. And then the same thing with jumping again. The KWPN is actually better in that than the Connemara. But the stamina is much, much better in the Connemara. Significantly much better. So the Connemara has a better chance, if you were to compete a foundation Connemara against a KWPN, and they both have the exact same bonuses, same GP, blah, 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 the Connemara is probably going to win all of the time in the cross-country competition. There is cases of, obviously, where some people were like put in skillers against, you know, you could put a good KWPN in a cross-country competition against a Connemara, and the Connemara might not be fully trained, and it would be very easy to take wins because the KWPN can go in very low competitions. So I'm not saying that a KWPN can't beat a Connemara in cross-country, it's just that the Connemara is designed better for the cross-country discipline. Now, bearing in mind different servers, different percentages, so always go to the directories, okay? Click the horses, click on whatever breed that you want. So I'm going to click on paint horse in this occasion, and you will see the percentages, because different servers, not all the breeds are the same. Because some people ask me, would I show people how to blup each breed of horse on the game, and the reason I can't do that is because if I did, I'd have to do it for every single server, because some servers, the skill set of the actual horses is different. So I'll actually show you an example of this. So on UK, if I go into horses and I click on the Arabian horse, so there's the Arabian on UK. Now, if I go to international and I go to the directories and the horses and I click on Arabian horses, if I just, this is the international one on the left, and the right one here is the one in the UK. As you can see, completely different skill set. On UK, the Arab is very good in speed, but on international, the Arab is atrocious at speed, okay? So, different servers, horses are designed differently. Not all of them are, some of them are all the same, some of them aren't, okay? So you need to be aware of that. Now, there is another thing, and I'm just going to mention this in passing, and I'm going to thank Dr. Zig for this. It's on her EC forums on international. So this is how the race results are calculated. So you've got age comes into it with every single discipline. And then, as I said, the primary skill is going to have the most effect, and the next two are going to be slightly under that. Now, obviously, they vary. These ones have been, I suppose, pretty much gained as they're pretty sure that these are fact. But something like the dressage is sort of open to debate. These, on some servers, people argue they're different. So I'm not going to go into it in massive detail in that respect, but I'm just going to mention this in passing that people have these and you can go and look them up if you want. So basically what I'm saying is, if you're going to start breeding for a certain discipline, make sure to pick the right breeds. And if you're doing crossbreds, you might want to make sure that if you have a Connemara, that obviously Connemars are really bad in trot in UK, so maybe you want to improve them in trot, you need to go and find a breed that's good in trot. So, it's very difficult, but if you breed and you think about it whenever you're designing for what type of competitions you want to win, you have a lot of flexibility, and it is quite easy to go and check. So I hope this has been helpful, guys, and I hope you had a lovely day. Bye bye.